President Trump and Vice President Vance weighing in on the FBI raids at the Maryland home and Washington office of Trump's former National Security Advisor, John Bolton. It's all part of an investigation into possible classified material.
Rebekah Castor joining us now with the very latest. Hi, Rebekah.
Hi, Griff. First off, John Bolton has not been arrested or charged with any crimes, but this is the first step in what could be a long investigation. FBI agents spent hours searching for evidence at his home and D.C. office Friday. And in an interview with NBC, the vice president confirmed they were looking for potential classified documents.
What's at the root of this? Is this about classified documents?
Well, again, I'll let the FBI speak to that. Classified documents are certainly part of it, but I think that there's a broad concern about Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And like I said, if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute it. If there is a crime here, of course, Ambassador Bolton will get his day in court.
Bolton was fired as Trump's national security advisor during his first term and became an outspoken critic. The president says he didn't know about the raid ahead of time, but can relate.
Yes, his house was raided today, but my house was raided also, called Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could, including my young son's room and my wife's area. So, so I know the feeling. It's not a good feeling.
And back in 2022, Bolton had a lot to say about that Mar-a-Lago raid.
I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
A senior U.S. official says this probe was first launched years ago, but was shut down by the Biden White House for political reasons. Griff, Charlie, and Rachel, back to you.
All right.
Thank you, Rebekah. So one of the interesting parts about this whole thing, first of all, when they raided Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, rifled through Melania's underwear drawer, went into Barron's bedroom. Mind you, they had Hunter that they still had not done anything with, but they needed to check Barron's bedroom. A lot of people who were on the fence about Trump, that was the moment for them where they said, that's it. This is crossing the line. I'm voting for Donald Trump. And the left kept saying, well, no one's above the law and democracy. And now we have John Bolton going through this. And look at what the Democrats have to say about it now.
True.
Bolton has been publicly criticizing President Trump. The timing of this search of Bolton's home is particularly chilling.
The FBI director goes online and tweets about this. The vice president of the United States jumps on that, suggests that this is a politically motivated gesture.
The president's history of going after people using the levers of power that he has access to.
So many investigations that seem to be for retribution purposes.
Consumed with revenge and retaliation against his critics.
It's chilling, they say. I'll just say this, Charlie. I believe the American voters, at least those who voted for Donald Trump, didn't just want Donald Trump to make America great again. Part of making America great again was we're going to have tit for tat. You want to break the norms on that? We're going to do it to you, too. And if classified documents are worth a home invasion of a former president, then let's do the same with John Bolton. So
yeah, and I wouldn't even call that tit for tat. I would call that just like enforcing the law when it's
equally
exactly to everybody. And I think it's such an important point because of course the FBI had to go to a judge, a federal judge in Maryland, in order to get a search warrant. They had to make the case. I don't think that the FBI agents and the judge were in league somehow giving bad warrants the way they were in the FISA courts, giving phony warrants to investigate President Trump. I also don't believe that at any point in this process are we going to see the legislative process in Maryland turned against John Bolton. But so I'm very comfortable that, obviously we don't know what was found there and we don't know what the predicate for the search was. But I'm very confident that all this will be meted out in court, and that John Bolton's rights as an American citizen will be protected at every step of the way. But what we saw with Donald Trump was the entire system was corrupted against him, from the investigators to the intelligence community to the courts. Even the courts were twisted against him. And so I have far more confidence that John Bolton's rights will be protected than I do that Donald Trump's.
What was found there was George Conway. Can you explain that? What was going on there? I'm still like scratching my head on that one.
I don't know. I presume he's
I figured you might have the inside scoop
a nearby neighbor who, for our viewers, George Conway, critic also of the president, was sort of live tweeting what was going on.
Patient zero of Trump derangement syndrome.
But I think both your points are very important. And, you know, when we hear from Congressman Jamie Raskin and others saying this is vindictive, this is retribution, or we hear Senator Coons harping on the timing of it, if you were for the timing and the actual investigation of Trump and supported that raid, you have to also support the raid of Bolton, because we don't know what the predicate was, as you mentioned, for the search, or what they're going to find or not find. And so at the very minimum, they should reserve judgment until we do know the details, because you can't be for one because it fits your political calculus and not for the other because you don't like what happened.
And to be fair, with Bolton's book, which is, I think we're assuming this has something to do potentially with the classified information that made it into his book, he was told not to publish that book. He went ahead doing it. And so we'll see what happens. And also, he was coming from a foreign trip. So, you know, what is he doing with the classified information? I know he's been making money abroad, we've been told. So let's see what's happening there.
Okay, and so some of those things that were in the book that the Trump administration, the previous Trump administration, said was classified, he took some of those things out, but he intentionally left other parts of it in the book. Either way, it's another case where when President Trump was raided for classified documents, you're talking about the President of the United States, the one person who can summarily say that something is classified or not classified. John Bolton has no authority whatsoever
he just
to make
has
any
a
of
bad
those determinations.
mustache. No authority, just a bad mustache.
I heard he escaped town in a herd of walruses.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.